The relationship between Russia and the United States has been shaped by decades of rivalry, mistrust, and competing global ambitions. After World War II, both nations emerged as superpowers with very different political systems and ideologies. The United States promoted democracy and capitalism, while the Soviet Union, led by Russia, supported communism. This ideological divide became the foundation of the Cold War, a period marked by proxy wars, nuclear arms races, espionage, and constant tension, even though the two sides avoided direct military conflict. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, many hoped tensions would ease and cooperation would grow. For a brief period, relations improved, but underlying disagreements remained. NATO's expansion into Eastern Europe was seen by the United States as a way to ensure stability, while Russia viewed it as a direct threat to its security and influence. These opposing perspectives gradually rebuilt suspicion between the two nations. In the 21st century, conflicts intensified around issues such as Ukraine, Syria, cybersecurity, and election interference. The United States has accused Russia of attempting to influence democratic processes and destabilize Western alliances, while Russia has accused the United States of interfering in its sphere of influence and supporting regime change near its borders. Sanctions, diplomatic expulsions, and military posturing have become common tools on both sides. Despite these tensions, Russia and the United States remain deeply connected on the global stage. They cooperate in limited areas such as arms control, counterterrorism, and space exploration, even while competing for power and influence. The conflict today is less about ideology and more about geopolitics, national security, and control over strategic regions. This ongoing rivalry continues to shape global politics and affects international stability far beyond the borders of either country. The main clash point between Russia and the USA is geopolitical influence and security, especially around NATO expansion and Eastern Europe. At the center of this clash is Ukraine. The United States supports Ukraine's sovereignty and its right to align with Western institutions like NATO and the EU. Russia sees this as a direct threat to its national security, fearing NATO military presence near its borders. This opposing view has turned Ukraine into the most dangerous flashpoint in their relationship. Beyond Ukraine, other key friction areas deepen the clash. NATO expansion versus Russia's demand for strategic buffers. Military presence in Eastern Europe and the Arctic. Cyber warfare and election interference accusations. Sanctions and economic pressure from the US and its allies. Competing influence in regions like the Middle East, Syria. Russia and the United States can reduce tensions through a combination of diplomacy, transparency, and practical cooperation. The most important step is consistent high-level dialogue. Regular communication between political and military leaders helps prevent misunderstandings, especially during crises, and reduces the risk of accidental escalation. Another key step is arms control and military restraint. Reviving and expanding agreements on nuclear weapons, missile systems, and troop deployments can rebuild trust. Clear rules about military exercises, force positioning, and the use of new technologies like cyber and space weapons would lower fears on both sides. Addressing regional flashpoints, especially Ukraine, is critical. This requires negotiations that respect Ukraine's sovereignty while also addressing Russia's security concerns. Ceasefire enforcement, confidence-building measures, and international mediation can gradually reduce hostility. Reducing tension also depends on economic and diplomatic engagement. Gradual sanctions relief tied to verifiable actions, along with restoring diplomatic missions and people-to-people exchanges, can improve mutual understanding and reduce hostility at the societal level. Finally, cooperation in shared global interests, such as counterterrorism, climate change, nuclear nonproliferation, and space exploration, can help rebuild trust. Even limited cooperation shows that rivalry does not have to lead to constant confrontation, making long-term stability more achievable.